Hi, Assalamualaikum. In this video, we are going to learn about back titration. Back titration is our third experiment based on SDS syllabus for Chemistry 1. Thus, what is a back titration? What is the difference between back titration and our regular titration? In this video, we will differentiate between it. Based on our syllabus, we have two types of titration. The first one is regular titration, and the second one is a back titration. Regular titration is a technique used to determine the concentration of solution based on a known concentration solution, while a back titration is a two-stage analytical technique where the unreacted acid or base will react with standardized base or acid solution. So, what is two-stage analytical technique? Before we discuss the back titration in detail, let's look at the objective of our experiment. The first objective is to standardize the hydrochloric acid, while the second objective is to determine the molar mass of an alkaline earth metal by back titration method. How to answer the first objective of the experiment? Standardize the hydrochloric acid. Standardize means we reconfirm or redetermine the concentration of the solution before we using the hydrochloric acid in our titration. We can standardize the hydrochloric acid by using a regular titration technique. First, we need to pipette 25 ml of hydrochloric acid into 4 different conical flasks. Then we can straight away titrate with sodium hydroxide. The molarity of sodium hydroxide that we use is 1.0 molar. For the sodium hydroxide, once you perform a titration, you can have its volume. While for hydrochloric acid, you already know the volume, then you can determine its molarity. But remember, before you start calculate, make sure you have a balanced chemical equation. How to answer the second objective, which is determine the molar mass of an alkaline earth metal by back titration method. First, you need to pipette 25 ml of hydrochloric acid to a conical flask. Then, cleanse the metal M. After that, record the mass of metal M. Then, you cut a metal M into a small piece and transfer to a conical flask that contains hydrochloric acid. You have to wait until the reaction complete. Can you write an equation that represents the reaction in a conical flask now? After the reaction complete, our conical flask now contain an excess hydrochloric acid. Why it contains hydrochloric acid? This is because the metal M is our limiting reactant and the hydrochloric acid is the excess reactant. This step represents the first stage in a back titration. How to determine the molarity of the hydrochloric acid excess? We use a titration technique to determine it. After the reaction complete, you can add phenolphthalein to a conical flask that contain unreacted hydrochloric acid. Then you can titrate the unreacted hydrochloric acid with sodium hydroxide. Why we call this as a back titration technique? This is because we have two stages of reaction. The first stage is the reaction between metal and hydrochloric acid. The second stage is the titration between unreacted hydrochloric acid with sodium hydroxide. After that, you can determine the molar mass of the metal used. That's all. Thank you very much.